Grocery Gang. They are considered one of the most influential Roblox myths in recent history, from popularizing the kindergarten genre myths to being covered by Roblox YouTubers. One can't deny that Grocery Gang has left a big mark on the Roblox myth community. However, they got into a lot of drama in the early 2020s and ultimately fell apart. So that leaves us with one important question. What happened? We'll be attempting to answer that in this video. Before anything, we need to go over what Grocery Gang even is. Grocery Gang is a former Roblox myth group that consisted of numerous popular myth accounts. These said myth accounts are parodies of major retail chains, with some examples being Amazook, Google Chrome, Home Depot, and Filtco. Grocery Gang initially started as a joke myth, being somewhat of a parody, but then changed into a pretty legitimate Roblox myth group. They soon gained popularity through Roblox YouTuber Flamingo making videos on them. Now that context has been established, let's get into the downfall of Grocery Gang. Let's start off with Grocery Gang's first ever controversy. In January of 2020, 12 members of the myth left the group. Some of them include 1AD, Fiddlepat, Wikipedia, and Wowza Buddy. The former two would go on to create a group called WormHub. A few months later in April, group member Sebboy got into an argument with fellow member 74J. This ended in Sebboy accepting a majority of the Grocery Gang join requests, which increased the number of members to 3,737. Sebboy later retired from the Roblox myth community. Skipping forward to June of 2020, Grocery Gang member MSN Lord was exposed for pedophilia and sending photos of animated children to other users. Of course, this is a huge no-no, so MSN Lord was removed and banned from Grocery Gang. This is, according to former member Filtco, the start of Grocery Gang's downfall. It only gets worse from here. On September 26, 2020, the Grocery Gang Discord server was nuked, meaning that everything got deleted. Due to this, a majority of the remaining members ended up leaving the myth. It also prompted member 74J to announce the retirement of Grocery Gang. The message reads as follows.
I'll be closing the server temporarily since things are going crazy. As you may know, some Grocery Gang members got banned demoted for stupid stuff that happened in the Discord server. I won't be that active on 74 Joules as I used to be since I'm not in conditions to handle situations like this every time due to staff people thinking it's funny. This server might become a community hangout server and just stay like that, since we can't have it as a place for all ages for obvious reasons. I personally think that that's the best idea. Sorry for doing this, but personally I don't feel like continuing with all of this adventure. It was fun while it lasted, but Grocery Gang is nothing without all the members we had. The game's accounts will still be there for you to play. That's up to each member of Grocery Gang. 74J's games and Amazook's games will still be there. Thank you so much for supporting Grocery Gang until the end. None of this could have happened without your support and your loyalty.
As a result of all the drama that happened in 2020, the Grocery Gang myth went into retirement. There would be no new updates for the rest of 2020. Everyone went their separate ways and Grocery Gang ceased to exist. That's not to say there weren't attempts at reviving the Grocery Gang myth afterwards. In late February of 2021, 74J tweeted about a potential Grocery Gang revival and that they'll, quote, hopefully do things better. Afterwards, the Grocery Gang group was brought out of retirement and made active again. This revival lasted for 2 months, coming to an end in April of 2021. During that month, 74J announced through the group description that Grocery Gang was officially retired. As a result, that specific group is now open for anyone to join. Fast forward to March of 2022, and 74J announced on the Grocery Gang rewritten wall that the myth was gonna make a comeback, although with a new story. This did happen and Grocery Gang had minimal issues for a period of time. However, problems would soon arise once again the following month. On April 12, 2022, the second owner of the 74J account announced on Discord that Grocery Gang was on hiatus due to the 74J account getting locked. 8 days later, 74J announced on Twitter that Grocery Gang was discontinued due to, quote, some unfortunate circumstances. With that, Grocery Gang ceased to exist for the third time. Ha, you thought that was it? Well, it's not. In the second half of 2022, a revival of Grocery Gang was announced on the Grocery Gang rewritten group. What was the name of this group? It's none other than Grocery Gang Party. Some of the Grocery Gang members moved over to this group and continued the myth there. This didn't last long, however, as at some point, the group name was changed to Disposables. I have no idea what the group's new purpose is, but I still felt like mentioning it. If there's anything to be learned from this video, it's that Grocery Gang had a very controversial and sad downfall. One of the biggest Roblox myth groups of all time came crashing down because of drama, bad people, and total chaos. As a result of everything that caused the myth to collapse on itself, almost all of the members have gone their separate ways and pursued their own projects. It's honestly a shame to see this happen. Grocery Gang was one of my personal favorite myths for a long time, and it hurts to see what ended up happening to the group. Regardless of their downfall and the controversies they got into, Grocery Gang is still one of the most iconic myths to ever appear in the community's history. With everything being said, thank you for watching and see you in the next video.